Freezing temperatures and snow still on the ground. You probably aren't thinking much about flooding on your property right now, but with those flooding evacuations in California, it's important to remember that floods do impact us here in Colorado. We definitely see it in the summer months. And here to discuss now we have AAA insurance expert Skylar McKinley joining us. So in general, what kind of risks do floods pose to a property?
Floods happen in every state. It's the most widespread form of natural disaster. And a lot of folks will say, oh, I don't live in a high-risk floodplain, I don't need to worry about this. But we know that for most flood insurance claims, more than 20% occur out of those floodplains. So even if you're not in an area where you think might flood, this stuff happens. And when it happens, it's hugely destructive. Yeah. Just an inch of water in your property can cause about $25,000 of damage on average.
Incredible. I mean, last summer we saw a tragic case of a woman who was killed in a flooding situation here in Colorado. How do you stay safe?
The number one thing is follow all of the advisories you might be hearing from law enforcement, and don't drive, especially if folks are telling you not to. That's where a majority of flood-related fatalities happen. And by the way, it is the most dangerous natural disaster. 12 inches of water can sweep you off the road. It's important to have a flood plan. Again, no matter where you live, if flooding happens, where's the higher ground we go to? Who do we call? What's in our emergency kit? What do we do with our pets? Having all that in one place and together really makes it a lot easier. God forbid something like this should happen.
Yeah, absolutely. A good point about the roads, too. And from an insurance perspective, a lot of people don't know if they have flood insurance at all. What should you know? If
you don't know, the odds are pretty good that you don't have it, because renters and homeowners typically doesn't cover this, but you do want it. Again, if you're living in your own home that's not part of a condominium complex or anything like that, you're probably at more of a flood risk than you think. Even if there's storm drains near you, if there's been recent construction, if there was a burn path, we're all at higher risk of this than we think we are. And because that price tag is so steep, this is a good thing to call your agent and talk about, is flood insurance appropriate? And they'll talk you through whether or not it's right for you.
Based on where you live and that kind of thing.
And your needs and your property.
Your type of property, etc. All right, thank you, Skylar McKinley, so much for that.